Hi guys and girls, I'm Obsidian Ant and welcome back to Exploring Elite Dangerous episode 43. Touring the galaxy has enabled me to see all manner of planets and landscapes. This one in particular had some absolutely stunning canyons and gorges, which you got to see in one of my Distant Worlds expedition videos. This, however, is an area that I didn't get to show you, and that was slightly out of the impact crater there with its canyons and various mountains. I discovered this Martian-esque ridge, which provides a stunning vista. Now, I don't know about you, but when I come across locations like this, I just have to land and spend a bunch of time driving around. This RV can at times be difficult to drive, but on surfaces like this, it is an absolute pleasure, especially with VR. Price aside, with both the Oculus Rift and the HTC Vive now available for pre-order, it's gonna be only a matter of time before a whole lot of other people are enjoying these sorts of locations, and Elite is gonna offer a prime gaming experience for people both new to VR and the space genre. Surrounded by this beautiful nebula, this surely was a standout location. Now, something I often do in VR is use the external camera, place it at about head height outside the SRV, and then just stand there on the surface of the planet admiring the alien sky. And that experience is only enhanced when the night sky is dramatically different to the day sky, as we can see here in this example. Many thousands of light years away, I came across this system here, which is perhaps one of the most interesting I've seen outside of NGC 7822. Almost every planet within this system was ringed, not to mention the ringed stars that were here as well. The first two planets in this system were extremely close together, and in just a moment I'll show you how that looked. And of course, there's that lava world there, which also happens to be ringed. It's those worlds that I'm hoping will be opening up for landing when Frontier finally deploy the planets with volcanism. So here are the two planets right near the star, both very close together and both slightly off axis to each other, enabling you to see the rings of the other planet when down on the surface. Now, these are ice planets, but they've got a lovely colour to them due to the fantastic lighting from the local star here. That's something that's also going to change in one of the upcoming patches, in patch 2.1 to be precise. You can see here how the system retains its coloured lighting no matter the distance from the local star, and that's also going to be happening with stars of all colour in future. I actually spent quite a lot of time down on the surface of the planet, right in that crater you saw from orbit a moment ago, where you could see both the rings of this own planet as well as the rings of the distant planet, along with the lovely star there in the distance. Later on in the day, the neighbouring planet had dropped below the horizon, and the star had moved across the sky, enhancing the lighting quite dramatically. You can see some greenish fog here as well, which also added to the ambience quite a lot. Now, generally speaking, I tend not to spend too much time driving around trying to find resources, but the story was very different on this particular planet due to the abundance of resources of rare and very rare materials here. Later on, I'm going to need the ability to use the FSD injection facility to boost the jump range of my ship, just to allow me to get to areas that would otherwise be out of reach. So with all the relevant materials here, I was sure going to spend the time necessary to go collecting as much as I possibly could. Now, because the galaxy is so vast in Elite, the graphical quality really does vary greatly depending upon the texture of the ground, along with the quality of the local lighting. So when you finally do find an area like this, it will probably look dramatically different to more or less anything else you've seen. And, well, to be perfectly honest, I think an area like this is the perfect location for a ground base of some type. I struggled a little bit to get close enough to this particular rock. I did want to shoot it and collect whatever it contained, but the incline atop which it was sitting was fairly steep, and as you can see, the gravity also was quite high here at 1.7 G. By no means excessive, but certainly high enough to prevent you from just bounding up the hill in a single leap. It turned out that this rock was to contain some very rare material. After it did go rolling down the hill there, meaning I'd have to chase off after it, but there was some antimony there. In the real world, antimony is a fairly rare mineral, quite hard to find, and it does actually have some explosive properties when used in a specific way. That has been translated into Elite in being a very rare material here to find, and of course it is also used as an explosive material. As such, it's used for premium grade munitions within Elite, and they give you a 30% boost to damage. So if you're out here exploring within Elite, you're probably not going to find a great use for these, but if you're into PvP, then you may find that antimony gives you a distinct advantage. If I've learnt one thing within Horizons, it's that from time to time my ship does like to attempt to troll me. Sometimes it lands very far away, other times it lands high up on inaccessible areas, and on occasion it lands on little mounds like this, which prevent me from getting into the cargo hold. So, after a little sigh and perhaps a smile at the ship's joke, I sent it flying away and wait here in this spot and ask it to return. I wait in the spot, hoping that the ship won't be dumb enough to come and land on top of me and will instead choose another area to land at. And when I recalled the ship this time, it did thankfully land in an area that I was able to get back into it. On the drive over, I did manage to find a bunch of more valuable and fairly rare resources. It's quite unusual for me to spend this amount of time on a single planet, unless the planet has a deep canyon range on it, some unusual mountains or unique crater features. In this case, this planet has none of that, but what it does have here is very atmospheric. But it was getting on for time to head on out and check out the other areas in this system. As you saw right near the start of this video, the entire system is pretty much comprised of planetary bodies with rings around them. Now, I did drop into these rings here for a bit of recording, but the footage didn't really come out that well, and to be perfectly honest, the rings still don't look that good. There's a lot of pop-in and a lot of other problems with the ring system, so I tend not to show them too much at the moment because I don't actually spend any time in them. They're quite a disappointment in that regards. So I'm really looking forward to the next patch update, which will be fixing all of that. Unfortunately, if you haven't heard, patch 2.1 has been delayed. It was initially going to be released in April, but now it's been put back till June, which is quite an extensive delay. There's details of that in the video description, and I'll be releasing a video discussing it very soon. No matter how long I play Elite for, I never get tired of exploration. Whether it's something I do on my own, or whether it's something I do in a group. The experience of making constant discoveries like this really is amazing. It's truly awe-inspiring. Games are many things to different people. They allow us to do things that we perhaps wouldn't otherwise be able to do in the real world. Whether that's the rush of combat, or the thrill of becoming the most powerful player in the vast fantasy world. For me though, games are all about exploration, about experiencing environments that are otherwise totally out of reach. Space is something I've dreamt about since childhood, and the ability now to actually go out and see all these environments, especially with virtual reality. The rise of virtuality is likely to represent a complete paradigm shift for gaming. It's likely that in the future, gaming will become about far more than its current experiences, and will instead allow players and users to literally step into otherwise unobtainable worlds. Over the coming weeks, I will be taking a much closer look at VR and how it relates to Elite Dangerous and perhaps some other games. And although videos don't truly convey the real experience of stepping into VR, I will do my best to try and explain what the experience is like. For now though, I'm well on my way towards the fleet of the Distant Worlds expedition, and my next exploration video should hopefully be from among the fleet itself. As I've said many times before, it's a vast galaxy out there, but we're now nearly halfway across that galaxy. Getting beyond waypoint 17 will represent the furthest point I've ever travelled within this game, and it's going to be a pleasure that I won't have to do that alone, but rather be among a group of like-minded explorers. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time. Hi guys and girls, I'm Obsidian Ant and welcome to Exploring Elite Dangerous episode 42. I'm slowly making my way back across the galaxy to the Sol system and home. This ship has been out here in deep space since April last year, so it's coming up for a year now. I've seen a tremendous amount of sights out here and collected a lot of scan data, and although I don't expect to make a significant amount of money here due to the fact that I don't scan every single planet, hopefully it should be a nice chunk. But being out here is far from being just about the money.